So Star Wars made a show with black people and lesbians, and I'm sure the internet had a very normal reaction, right? Right? I think Acolyte is one of the best Star Wars shows that Disney has ever made. It's a completely original idea from a new era that we've never seen before, 100 years before the start of our main story. Despite being a huge Star Wars fan, I never read any of the books or comics, and any previous knowledge I have of this era is from the fun facts in YouTube shorts. So now that the show is over, at least for now, let's talk about it. This review will not be spoiler-free. The show mainly follows Osha. No, they are not there to inspect work sites. They're there to put themselves in danger fixing a fire in space. But how is there fire in space? I don't know. How is there enough concentrated heat in space to form the laser blast that we've been seeing in the franchise for the past 40 years? Maybe the leaking oxygen helped propel the flames. Either way, not the first time we saw fire in space. The Clone Wars had burning ships all the time. One day, the Jedi Order shows up to arrest Osha because they suspect her of murdering a Jedi Master. However, she is innocent. The true culprit is her evil twin sister. Okay, first problem with the show. The twin thing is stupid. This is Star Wars, not a telenovela. The actor manages to play two personalities fantastically, and the writers adapt the idea the best they can, but I can never get past how one twin is good and one twin is evil. But her evil twin is May. She wants revenge against a group of Jedi who were stationed on her home planet 16 years beforehand because they murdered the witches' coven she was raised in, but Osha doesn't know that yet. Here we meet Saul. Saul is my favorite character in modern Star Wars. He's essentially Old Republic Qui-Gon Jinn with more flaws. A whole lot of flaws, but we'll get to that later. Saul and Osha team up with the Jedi to hunt down May and the mysterious master who trained her. They set out to warn a Wookiee Jedi that he's likely the next target. However, when they get there, he's already dead. That's when we get an amazing lightsaber fight with the mysterious Sith Lord who has been training May. He murders almost all the Jedi there and snaps a guy's neck! This is the brutality and total force the Sith have been lacking. No more cartoon finger-tenting, this guy is a beast and he's played by Scott from Haley's On It! How? And he was the goofy guy in The Good Place? Why is it the last two things I saw him in, he was the comic relief idiot, and even in this show he was dead for 2 episodes, and now I see him playing a psychopath like a champ. This guy is amazing and one of my favorite villains in all of Star Wars. Well anyway, through some more stupid twin shenanigans, Saul, the Sith Lord, Osha, and May confront each other where the truth is revealed. Osha finds out Saul killed her mother and then covered it up. He blamed May for years, and that led Osha to resent her so much that she could never make it as a Jedi, something she has tried to be since before the death of her family. In a fit of rage, Osha corrupts a lightsaber crystal and almost instantly uses the Force to choke Saul to death, completing the last trial to become an Acolyte by killing a Jedi without a weapon. Then a green lady shows up with more Jedi and the sisters are forced to make a hard choice. The Sith Lord makes a deal with Osha. She trains with him and he wipes her sister's memories of her so May can't lead the Jedi to them. So at the end of Season 1, May, a child bent on revenge against the Jedi, who she held responsible for the murder of her mother and her coven, has been given the memories of her 8-year-old self. Saul and all of his conspirators are dead. The Green Lady pins everything that went wrong on Saul, and Osha becomes the Acolyte. One thing I want to talk about is Saul. He's one of my favorite modern Jedi, if not my favorite. I love the actor who plays him, Lee Drong-jae, let me know if I'm saying that wrong. He gives me Qui-Gon vibes, however I can't help but feel like they bungled his character a little bit. A flawed main character is what makes a story interesting. But Saul wasn't just flawed, he was almost a villain in his own right. He murdered a girl's mother and blamed everything on her sister and then raised her as a master. Osha had every right to choke him to death the way he was written, but I feel like his character was mishandled. I would have written it so that he was younger and more inexperienced at the time of the mission where everything went wrong. And I would have made the mission leader and the most senior one of the group be the one to kill Osha and May's mother, not Saul. That way, he would have a reason to live for Season 2, and the audience could still root for him. We were left with a cliffhanger at the end of Season 1. The Green Lady who covered everything up went to speak with our very own Master Yoda. Please Frank Oz above come back to play this character. I wonder what Yoda would have to say about all this. He's the straightest shooter of the bunch. Could he be the one to turn Osha back to the light side? Now, is this the best Star Wars thing Disney has ever made? No. Some of my personal favorites would be Rogue One, Andor, Rebels, and Clone Wars Season 7. But Saul's character assassination at the end, for me, keeps Acolyte from being called a favorite of mine. Also, his relationship with Osha came off as kind of pervy and creepy when Obi-Wan's relationship with Anakin or Qui-Gon's relationship with Obi-Wan never did. However, I don't think this was the actor's fault. It was just the writing slipping. Now, I would say that all these are fair criticisms I outlined. However, what's not fair is, I don't know, running the writer of Episode 3 off of Twitter because you didn't like it. Did I like Episode 3? No. In my opinion, such a boring flashback episode stonewalled the pacing. But I don't want to kill the one who wrote it! Disney being woke isn't ruining Star Wars. The two moms did not make the writing any weaker or stronger. Casting a black non-binary lead did not erase the original trilogy. But we are not repeating the Third Sister incident from Kenobi or the Rose Tico incident from the sequels. Just because you like something and want to see it succeed does not give you the right to harass innocent people of color off the internet. Because let me tell you something, Acolyte is not woke. Gasp! The Acolyte is a murder mystery and a character study. They had a few jabs at government bureaucracy, but at no point did Osha stand on a soapbox and rail against the tyranny of capitalism or ask for an end to racism. The presence of black people and lesbians does not inherently make a project woke. And guess what? It's the Star Wars galaxy! If you're going to find diversity anywhere, it's the Jedi Order! You want a woke story? Try my recent gen. If you couldn't tell this was a couple afraid to be gay in their own religious empire, then you need glasses because it says so right here! Space Force, The Guys Who Save TV, and Detective Joe. My hope is they're going to be the wokest things you've ever seen. We're going to tackle religion, racism, tyrannical governments, and so much more. Not subtle plug for my own stuff! So I guess the lesson here is, don't watch a Star Wars thing you hate, watch me instead. That's our show, folks. Have a good night. Oh, also, Darth Plagueis is skulking around a cave.